What's going on, guys? Bob Roche from RocheTechnology.com here with my full review for you of the brown leather protective case cover for the iPad. This was sponsored by BudgetGadgets.com, so be sure to check their link out right down there in the description. They have tons of different accessories for tons of different electronics, and they sell for prices that make people like you and me smile. So what I do when reviewing products is construct a pros and a cons list, and this is no exception. So let's just go ahead and dive right into the pros. The first pro I have for this case is really just the overall design. I do like the nice checkered pattern. I've always been a fan of checkered patterns, whether it's just the simple black and white, or you get some color in there like, white and green, black and green. And in this case, it's like a brown and a dark brown. So I do like this color combination. I would like to see like maybe this case, but with different color options. That would be very nice. But as far as the checkered pattern goes, it is all the way around. It is inside as well. So the pattern is consistent throughout the entire case, which is very nice and appealing to the eye. Now, while the look of the product isn't everything, this actually has some pretty durable material as well. They're touting it as like, sort of a leather product. Leather is right in the name, and it does feel pretty representative of that. I really don't think it's, genuine leather. It's not going to be like some like luxury sort of a case, but it is a very good material. I'll see if I can get this to focus for you guys. Give you sort of like an idea of the material this is made out of. It is a very durable material. I mean, if I can come back here a little bit and get my nails on this, I mean, you can sort of hear that. It does sort of I don't want to say dig in, but I mean, really it's not going anywhere. I mean, this is very sturdy material. It would take one heck of a scratch from one heck of a blade to get through this thing. So that's very nice, knowing that your precious iPad here will be protected in this case. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and place the iPad in the case. Let's go ahead and do this. And as you can see here, this does have a little flap here that folds back like that. So it does help keep the iPad inside the case, which is especially nice for when you have it flipped up like this when you're watching a video or something, which I will talk about in just a minute. By the way, shout out to all you guys giving me tweets and stuff. There you go. But anyway, like I said, that flap just tucks back there nicely. Really just a nice design, really. It doesn't get in the way, and it does help, and it is functional. If I tip the iPad up like this, it doesn't fall out of there. So that flap is not like the thickest thing in the world. However, it does do its job pretty nicely. And so now to give you guys sort of a view around the case, all the I/O is accessible. So up here, you got your standard headphone jack, got your microphone cut out, got your sleep and wake button. On the back here, you do have a camera, which as you can see, it is off, but I'll get more of that in a second. Normally it's not though, if I get it just the right way. As you can see, there it is actually now just fine. So like I said, I'll talk about that in just a second. Moving down here, you have your volume rocker as well as your I guess your silent switch or your orientation lock, whichever you prefer. Down here you have your 30-pin connector, and on the back you have your speaker grill. There is no cutout for an Apple logo or anything, but you do have a nice stand feature back here. And as you'd expect, this case does feature magnets, so it does wake the iPad and put it to sleep. I'll go ahead and I'll turn this sound on. There you go. And you guys get the idea. Now on the surface, this is a very nice case. It does its job very well, but with every product there are a couple cons, and this is no exception. So first I want to point out, that you guys saw the little camera was off earlier. That's simply just because the iPad is like sort of free to move around in this case. So to show you that, go ahead and open this guy up, and I'll use the stand functionality. Go ahead and show this. Tuck that guy right under there. And there you go. Now I've noticed that, after a little bit of having this like this, playing a video or whatever, this does tend to slide down, which causes, like the home button will sometimes be down here, sort of like, halfway hidden by this. The front-facing camera will slide down as well, and as you guys saw, that back camera does as well. So there is some slack. What's going on? There is some slack inside of this case for this to move around, which isn't the best. That is a con I have of this case, but I mean, it's really nothing that's too bad. And when you're doing it like a keyboard angle, this really doesn't get in the way at all. So if you're someone that doesn't usually have their iPad propped up like this for watching videos, you're more of a person that just does a lot of typing and you want to just be like this, then that will not be an issue for you, because it really doesn't slide much this way. I really only found the issue when I have it propped up like this when I'm watching videos. And now speaking of watching videos, as you can see, the iPad stops here and like the case is folded here, which means that it's not flush like the smart cover is. So as you can see, when I'm watching videos, the iPad is like, it's off the ground. So this does tend to tip sort of easily. Like if I'm watching a video and I do something like this, This can tip back somewhat easily. It's not too big of a deal, and it really does depend on the surface. Like, this is a flat desk, by the way. Thumbs up for a new desk. I know you guys have been on me to get a new desk for a while. Finally happened. But anyway, this is a nice flat surface, so it's not as big of a deal here. But at work, I plugged this guy into a stereo, play some Pandora radio, and the stereo is just sort of, or the shelf rather, is just, you know, like a wired shelf. And on a surface, you know, sort of like that, it is easy for the thing to fall this way. Not so much back, but sometimes I'll like, you know, go tap something on the screen and it'll come back this way, and it's much easier to fall this way. And also one minor con, which really is not a big deal at all, when you do fold this guy, it has to be exactly right for the magnets to put it to sleep. So I'll go ahead and show you that now. Turn the screen back on. As you can see, this does have some give to it, so I could do this and it's out of line like that. You can see it does have a good amount of give. So if you close it like this, as you can hear, nothing happened, it's still on. So you really have to make sure you close it just right. As you can see, you heard it locked there. So you do have to close it just right, but it really is not a big deal just because it's as simple as, you know, moving it just a little bit. But now if you're walking in this with this case, and, you know, you're walking and this thing's constantly making noise, if you have your volume on, that's going to get very annoying, so you'll have to turn your volume off. Which, if you have, like, you know, a 3G iPad, or you're just always connected to Wi-Fi, if you want to get notifications, you won't be able to hear them. Things like that. So this is not a big deal, but for some people, it could bother you more than others. Now, with a few minor cons out of the way, this is definitely a great case, and the price is right. This case comes in at a mere $15 from BudgetGadgets.com. So for a case that is fully featured as this, that offers the protection that this does, has the stand, you know, the magnet functionality, all the I/O is accessible, I really have to recommend this case. The few minor cons of, you know, the stand not being, you know, the best one I've ever seen, and just, you know, the little trouble I had with the magnets, really don't justify me saying don't buy this case. This case may not be for everybody, but for the price, it's definitely worth it. Especially if you're not looking to spend, you know, a lot on a case. You just want something that works, something that will protect it, and you don't need it to cut the grass. This is definitely a great option for you. So there you guys have it. That's my full review for you of the brown leather protective case cover from BudgetGadgets.com. Be sure to check this link out in the description down below. I'm at CPUKid on Twitter. Also be sure to check out RocheTechnology.com and at RocheTechnology on Twitter. Once again, Budget Gadgets, give them a click right down there. Please like this video. I always appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in my next video.